Bonsoir tout le monde, bienvenue à cette...
So good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Standing Committee on Strategies and Public Policies. This is a meeting where we receive presentations from different groups, from staff, our staff. No resolutions will be discussed or motions will be made. We will just be accepting files on which decisions will be made later on. So thank you and welcome to everyone. First on the agenda, first up at the agenda is the Capitol Theatre. We're told that it was represented tonight by Mr. Thomas Raffi. Mr. Raffi, good evening. At one point, the mayor will turn on your mic. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your welcome message. I hope that you're talking about a bat up first at bat. I don't know what we're going to do with that bat. Anyway, thank you very much, councillors. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us, and thank you for this opportunity to make a presentation on the Capitol Theatre. Let me introduce myself too. I'm Thomas Raffi. I'm part of the board of Capitol Theatre, and with me tonight our chair, Nicole Gautreau, as well as our CEO, Madame Kim Rayworth, and our communications director, Madame Vivienne Maté, who are with me for this presentation tonight. The objective tonight is very simple. Basically, we have three goals. First of all, to talk to you about our programming at Capitol Theatre, but especially to talk to you about its positive impact for the community, and basically, which will lead it to an invitation to you to reconsider your decision to reduce the budget that you are giving to the Capitol Theatre of 10%. Among the three founding municipalities of the capital, the city of Dieppe is by far the one that has grown the most, and we believe that this growth of the municipality has been supported by the amount of cultural activities that increase the quality of life in the city of Dieppe. The program of Dieppe made a lot of room for Francophone culture, and we're very proud to have produced fantastic artists who consolidated Dieppe as being the largest Francophone municipality of New-Brunswick. This evolution of the three communities over the last 30 years have resulted in this, as you can see on the graph that you have before us. Of the three communities, city of Dieppe has known a growth of approximately 103%. Which is a fantastic amount when we compare it especially to the two other municipalities, Riverview and Moncton, who have known themselves 18 and 21% growth. 103% demographic increase is due to socioeconomic and demographic results, meaning that there's an attraction, but there's also a retention of citizens. There are different factors to this, be it services given by the municipality, quality of life, but quality of life is also explained by arts and culture, which make people decide to remain in this community. I would also like to talk about the history of the capital and the community mindset that permitted this project. As you know, we have seen an incredible evolution in the community of Dieppe and the greater Moncton area over the last 25 years. And who says 25 years also says the anniversary of the Capitol Theatre, 25 years. It's been in existence as a beacon of art and culture in the region. But 25 years ago, reality was totally different. It was the end of a certain industrial period, economic period in the Greater Moncton, and the end of the 80s was a kind of doom and gloom period, if I may say so. There were also pioneers who worked very hard to reinvent an economic model that we know bilingualism, telecommunication, things have been really the stepping stones for our region and growth. The adoption of this new economic model had to be enriched by some assets to feed this renewal. Infrastructure had to be set up to permit this renewal. The regional airport, the expansion of the industrial areas, the Capitol Theatre were part of this renewal. So to attract in our communities workers of the knowledge industry, we had to create a community that met the needs, valuing of both cultures and languages. In this mindset to rebuild our economy, there were partnerships between the communities and the provincial and federal. We created the renewal of the Capitol Theatre to broadcast basically culture and arts in the area. The contribution of the city of Dieppe is $83,000, and it has been the same over the last 6 years. So since 2013, there has been no increase. For this presentation, I mean, we say basically a picture is worth 1,000 words. So since we're talking about arts and cultures, we asked for somebody who had talent to present a little more of our request and to explain to you what the Capitol Theatre represents for our community. This drawing, you see there are two trees, one to the left which is smaller and is not as leafy, and that does not produce any fruit compared to the one on the right. And we don't really have to go too far. Just 4 years ago, the tree on the fourth, that represents 2015, a date that we don't really see at the bottom of the screen. Funding for 2015, the public funding represented approximately 45% of the total revenue income of the Capitol Theatre. And today, 4 years later, in 2019, the same amount of our founding members, Dieppe, represents 30% of the total income, a reduction of 15%. And if we compare it to the other, the Playhouse, for example, in Fredericton, they are at 37% approximately. So the Capitol Theatre is a leader in its management of public funds, but also 25 years ago, public revenue were at 79%. Today we're talking about 30%. So Capitol Theatre does more with your contribution. Now I'd like to you to look at the tree on the right, which is very detailed as far as the picture is concerned, and you'll see the way it works. And if we look at the roots, the three municipalities, we have Dieppe, Moncton, Riverview, we have the province of New-Brunswick, and the federal government. They contribute funds to the basic funding. And if I can talk a little bit botanics for a little, roots are very important for the evolution and the growth of a tree. Without these roots, there is no tree, there is no trunk, there is no branches, no fruit. So basically nothing happens. So roots must be there. They support, and they will always support the tree in its evolution. So contributions help us to plan the contribution of the players here, help us plan a program to have artistic activities that are varied and have different cultural activities that are with professionals of the industry. Which is important to hear is that the Capitol Theatre is not just a building, it's more than a building. It's a team of professionals that help the artists, to help them, to give them somewhere where their talent can be shown. 100 million visitors a year in the three communities, Dieppe, Moncton, and Riverview, are the founding members of the Capitol Theatre. We have 14 members of the board, 10 of whom are nominated, appointed by the municipality. Actually, the city of Dieppe has 2 members on our board, which is Jean-Marc Brideau. is one of them, and they contribute to what goes on. So you are the founding members of the capital. If we look at the trunk now, contributions of the founding members, you, and I remember you represent 30% of our total income. You support our operations, and it gives us the opportunity to generate revenue that supports all the activities of the Capitol Theatre. With this base, staff will multiply the resources that are given by the municipalities and to optimize the funds that we can get from other sources that will generate the 70% the other 70% that we need. So we've spent a couple of months ahead of time to confirm programming, which was launched a couple of weeks ago and which will occur soon. We are announcing that in June there'll be a program for artists that will be shown in next May. In other words, if we cannot reserve artists thanks to the funds, we can't sell tickets. If we can't sell tickets, we will not get sponsors. If we don't have sponsors, for example, at the bar, if we don't sell at the bar, we have no revenue to support the other expenses of the capital. Electricity, heating, or basically the salary of the mascots. So we are dependent on the support of our founding members to invest in program for the future and continue on our mission. All the activities of the program of what goes on within the Capitol Theatre depends on our capacity to maintain competent staff who are connected to the latest trends and who can anticipate different trends of the different markets that we work with. So we get to the branches of the tree now. That's the team of the Capitol Theatre. We're talking about 15 full-time employees, 14 members of the board, 250 volunteers, 30% of whom come from Dieppe, artisans, technicians, ambassadors. These are people who put in reality the program. If we're talking about here the fruit or the apples, we're talking about the program, 50 shows that are offered every year in different artistic domains, contemporary music. We have Louis-José Henry, Jean-Pierre Ferland, etc. We also have our theater academy that trains to more than 300 individuals a year, people who are aged from 70 to 77 years old. 30% of our students come from Dieppe. We rent the hall, artists who come, who want to produce themselves at the Capitol. We have the musical comedy, which over the last 4 years, the last one was presented in front of 10,000 spectators last winter. And this employs artists, artisans, technicians, actors, all locally. I know because my own brother was part of the show, La Belle et la Bête, Beauty and the Beast. Over the last year, we've also tried to work on musical comedies that generated excess money. We cannot do anything without having a solid basis to work. Our community activities, access programs for youth. We have shows where people decide the amount that they will be given. We have grants, we have rebates, and we contribute to a cultural and vibrant life. Capitol Theatre, we have, for example, citizenship ceremonies where we have new Canadian citizens who it's a special moment in their life. So this is very important for these. We have also trade shows, we have press conferences, etc. The last two things that I would like to present are the basically hearts and the dollar signs. The hearts are basically the social impacts that people have because of the shows, because of what the capital offers to the community. And all the apples that you see are basically fruit that are shared in all communities. As you know, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And we also now, with the dollar signs, that there are economic impacts that are very important. In 2012, it's a study that is now close to 7 years old. In 2012, Jukia from Mr. David Campbell showed that the Capitol Theatre contributed approximately $1.8 million to the community, which was direct or indirect through the clientele, but indirect also because clientele also decides to go to restaurants or go to the Champlain Mall, to the stores. So it's a considerable economic impact for the community. Studies have shown, though, for an investment of $1 in arts and cultures, there are impacts of $7. As an example, we can see that a country like France, the sector of arts and cultures has gone beyond and above and beyond the sector of the automotive sector in its contribution to the economic well-being of the city. We base basically on the programming routes. If we reduce one of these roots, the health of the tree is going to suffer. Branches will fall, there'll be less impact, positive impact. So as you see, we have a beautiful tree which is in excellent health, and even though the roots are essential, the tree also needs the sun, which is represented here by the public possibility of meeting together for a show. All people coming to the Capitol Theatre. We have approximately 100,000 visitors a year. We've increased our budget by 55%, regardless of the competition in the market. There's a lot of work that was worked up to create a membership, strategies, new initiatives, like our musical comedy. 26% of our purchases are done by residents of Dieppe, so their contribution represents 3.6% of our budget. So we could say that this is an excellent return on investment. Your financial contribution is very important. It's crucial because it is the roots of the tree that is the Capitol Theatre. True roots that permit the tree and the fruit to prosper. And therefore, we invite you to reconsider your decision of the reduction of 10% of your contribution. I thank you once again for having invited us. Thank you. Questions by members of council? Monsieur Alain. Thank you, Thomas. Nice presentation. The budget, we said $83,000. It's $88,000. It was reduced to 83. I don't have the details right now. The treasurer is not here. I can go back with the answers. I can also confirm that those last 6 years have been $83,430, and what you've been proposing to do is reduce it to $75,000. If I may, I have 2 or 3 questions. Here, I have an evolution. Our arts center would like to have apples too. I feel like we're like the little tree. I don't even know if we have leaves, so it's an evolution. So there are rumors that the Capitol Theatre is going to have a partnership to manage Moncton High, the hall there. There's been an evolution over the last years. You're talking about 25 years. The amount of show halls have increased. It would be interesting to see the evolution in the region. I'm not questioning the Capitol Theatre. I think it's a gem for our community, for the downtown Moncton. But we need a plan. If we look at Monument Lefebvre and Memram Cook, So somewhere along the line, we have to have a game plan, and I'd really like to see that, even to the point, as a partner, are there efficiencies or partnerships that have occurred with the Arts Center? Our managing team, has they sat with you to try to find partnerships or things so it's all questions like that. As counselor, I'd like to see something like that in the presentation next time. If I may answer, I think there are different aspects of your question. There are three main themes. First of all is concerning the Arts Center. Second one is Moncton High, and the third one is the general game plan for the Greater Moncton. And there would be a fourth one, if I may. I'm on your website, and the foundation of the Capitol Theatre. What is that? Is it an active foundation? Are there any rebates on this? So that I'll put that on my fourth thing. For the first item on the Arts Center, I think that what is important, we're talking about complementarity. It's not one against the other one, it's one with the other. But what is important here, I'm going to say almost apples and oranges, if we say in the fruit theme. We have to consider what each hall represents. There's a multifunctional here. There's a show hall in Arts Center, but in the capital, for seating is different. We're talking about 224 seats at the Arts Center compared to 800 seats at the Capitol Theatre. And we have an example that I can give you. The Ballet Academy here. They have classes here, they have practices here, but the show of the Nutcracker, I was part of it, is at the Capitol Theatre because the logistics is different, the offering is different. So one can go with the other, obviously, but I believe that we have to be aware of the realities of each of these different halls because they don't have the same things. They're not the same thing. Like I said earlier, the contribution of the municipalities, we're looking for headliners. These headliners have to be within bigger halls over 2-3 evenings. So the resources is different, but partnerships can exist. The Capitol, the Arts Center with headliners. So it's something that should complement one another, but we should have them opposed one another because their realities are different. That's for the Arts Center. Concerning the rumor, it's a rumor, as you said. It's unfounded. There are nothing based on this rumor, so we can't really debate this. So the only thing I can tell you concerning Moncton High is that we've had a presentation at the board in the Capitol. But that's it. So I can't comment any more than that, other than we've received a presentation. Concerning the game plan, concerning our different halls, I think it's an initiative, a great initiative. The idea is to sit with all municipalities of the Greater Moncton area and to establish a general plan for our region to see how each hall, the Arts Center, the Aberdeen Center, the Casino, the Avenir Center, and the Capitol Theatre, to sit together to see how we can go find the strengths of each, what are the strengths of each hall, and how can we help them to improve. So I think it's an excellent idea, but in the meantime, let us not reduce the roots of the Capitol Theatre. I think it's important. And concerning the foundation, it's a foundation that was set up to support the Capitol Theatre, and I can invite our CEO to talk about it in detail. Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely. They are the ones who led the first campaign last year, just before Christmas, individual donation campaign. We asked the community, we have a good cooperative sponsorship program. We never asked the individuals of the community to support us with donations. So now it's a foundation. It's the Friends of the Capitol Theatre. We work to get donations where they're put in a trust fund, and they'll be supporting, they'll be working on activities. So the idea is to purchase tickets like Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Magma, etc. So it's there's a application process. There's also be school grants for schools. And the theater school, it's also the third to help to pay transportation for school matinees. So we're setting up the program now. It was just launched last winter, but the foundation trust has been there since the beginning of 2000s, and is managed by this committee who is going to work under the new program under individual donations to support the three programs. I just want to come back very quickly on the Arts Center. It's true that our executive met their executive this winter. We talked about best practices to see if we could identify partnerships. The door is still open, and we communicate, right? There's a possibility of the theater class can offer classes here. She talked to us about this. Maybe next year she might want to see if we couldn't offer classes here. So that's an option. But we also work in collaboration with a Radar, which is a network. Right now, on a regular basis, we communicate and we talk about artists that but it could be good for your hall or our hall. So we communicate on a regular basis concerning programming. So yes, we're very interested in seeing if there are efficiencies or best practices that we can work on, just like any other partner in the region. Yeah, I think that's it, Madam Rayworth. You just mentioned it. We want to see that there's something that's physical, that's more partnerships. I want to see more. So we've put in a lot of investments in the Arts Center. As far as I'm concerned, it's a hallmark of our center, as the Capitol Theatre is for Moncton. So I would like to see also, maybe not as much, but we would like to have the opportunity to grow. We want to give a good push to get it going. So we're looking for something that is going to help it too. I think it's important. So next time, maybe it might be a good to have people from the Arts Center who could also be with you and support you to show us that the money is well invested. Councillor Gaudette. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kim has just touched upon the subject that I wanted to raise, the question of activities at the Theatre Academy. There are gaps at the Cultural Center here. Over the last 2 years, it's the lack of training of theatre arts. You have the wherewithal to do that. You have the staff. So I really would want to have something of a partnership between the Capitol Theatre and the Arts and Cultural Center to be able to have theatre arts here, not in the sense that people would come on stage here, but you have a program that you have access, community program. Maybe it's in that sector, but I would like within a year to see the two groups develop a business plan to be able to have theater here. I mean, we have youth here. It's important. It wouldn't take away from your program, but there could be winter programs during the week with professionals, something we could do. Yes, our theater arts courses, we do this over fall, winter, but we also have summer camps. And like I mentioned, Mélanie Lapointe mentioned it today, that she would see it possible to have a partnership either with your members here at the center to see if there's an interest. Yes, we can see registration of children who are interested. They come to the Capitol Theatre Academy, but it would also always be possible to have this program here because our director is already starting after school sessions in the southeast region. So she could develop a program like that. It could be a satellite program or outside of the Capitol Theatre. Yes, I would encourage you to do that. Thank you, Mr. Godet. Mr. Melançon. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that we'd had discussions with Madame Rayward on the possible agreement on development of a partnership with municipality Dieppe and Capital and explore other options. So it's opportunities like this that we should have as a dialogue to see how we could have a partnership agreement that would specify clearly what we would do with our contribution. Yes, we want to have the theater that will work, but we want something maybe outside of the Capitol Theatre. So the idea would be to have a discussion for a partnership agreement, and we'll see where it goes. Thank you. Thank you to all. I don't see any other lights, so thank you for your presentation. And if you don't have any more money, at least you've had more time tonight. Twice the amount of time that was foreseen. The only thing I can assure you of is that all representatives of Dieppe who were chair of the board did only good work for you, so I'm sure that's going to continue. Yes. That being said, thank you very much, Madame Gautreau, for your involvement. Very direct. We really appreciate your work as a representative of the city of Dieppe. Thank you. We go to the next item, which is still in the arts and culture area. To talk about the Congrès mondial acadien and other discussions. So, Monsieur François Aymon with Eric Cachet. Thank you. Good evening. So, inaudible comments. Yes, we have a short 60-second video to show you. Those are the artists who will be presenting themselves in Dieppe. It's the that video is on the web page and on the site of Congrès Mondial Acadien. François Aymon, I'm the delegate producer and responsible for all the events of the 15th of August. The 15th of August is one of the activities, and I'm with Don Madden here, the general director, and Eric Cachet, the director of logistics. This day, the 15th of August, we'll start on at noon here at Place 104. The youth will have with the Youth Federation partnership of finalists of Accro de la Chanson. It'll be the first time outside of the school year on the 15th of August at 104. There was the finalists were choosing 3 in solo and 3 in group categories, and that'll be here, followed by a show by Tommy Young and Caroline Savoie. That'll be for that day at Place 1604. Then there'll be the ceremony of the 15th of August, dignitaries that will be in the region for the Congrès Mondial Acadien. They will be invited to for a more solemn ceremony, and then the 16th will be the beginning of the start of the Grand Tatamar. Then there will be the Musical, which will be used for the first time. It's the site. You will be the first to use it. We will do a good job. We have one chance to make a good impression, and I think we will do things well. The doors will open at 5 p.m. because I believe that people will want to go to the site. People will be able to eat, drink on the site from the get-go till the end of the day. At 7 p.m. the show will start with what we've seen: Radio, Comtesse d'Ille, Carte Claire, DJ Lu, troupe de danse de Jamie Dutcher, Marc Apollo, Pierre Quenders, Rodi Romero, Joseph Edgar, The Hey Babies, Zachary Richard, Vichtel, Maggie Savoie, Lisa Leblanc, Edith Butler, Greater Moncton Pearl Rock Band, Jacinthe-Bourg, 1755 and Bois-Joli. So there's a portion of that evening that is from 8:30 to 10 p.m. will be broadcast coast to coast on Radio Canada, and it'll be on their website too. It will also be rebroadcast on RTV, I believe. So coast to coast, but available on the web for the following days also. That whole evening will end around 1:30 a.m. The Kodiak buses will be free. We'll be working with people to encourage public transport. Kodiak, with sponsorship from NB Liquor, the buses will be free starting 5 p.m. to there'll be a special network starting at 10:30 p.m. till 2:30 p.m. They put 6 dedicated lines that will reach most sectors. I think most people will be no longer than 10 minutes walk from there. So round trip to and fro. We're working at finalizing taxi stands around the Caisse Populaire here. That's the schedule. This schedule also means that there are some street closures. So Eric is here, and I'll have him present this. Before talking about this, logistics, it's not trees with video, and I mean, we're working this in barriers, number of people, public safety. We have 2 sites we're working with, Place 604 and then the new Musi-Art site. So it's a question of going from one to the other. So street closures basically is worked out in 3 sections. The first section here is from noon to 8 p.m. We'll be on Place 1604. We'll have to close part of Du Marché Street and Gaspé. I think it's already controlled or closed for part of the summer. That's from noon to 7 p.m. You said Gaspé? I think you meant Gauvin. Yes, sorry, you're right. Yeah, I haven't learned by heart. Yes, it's Gauvin Street, you're right. So those streets will be closed when 1604 is open and during the Tintamarre. So when the Tintamarre goes to the uptown, basically. So I always see that because of the map. So that's from noon to 7 p.m. Then afterwards, we get ready for the people who are going to be going towards the site, and that's from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. So at 4 p.m. we start closing everything that's up there. That includes Gould, Notre-Dame, Cousteau, Sainte-Thérèse, Doucet, and then we get ready to open the site at 5 p.m. so that people can start going towards the Musée Art site. Afterwards, we have the Tintamarre. The Tintamarre will require a closure, but that one will try to keep it as tight as possible on the Tintamarre. So when the Tintamarre is ready, we want the Tintamarre to start around 6 p.m. So we want to start closing at 1:45, but we'll go depending on the safety and the pedestrian traffic. Yes, the Ile expert, the safety security, they'll be closing the door at the street as we go. RCMP, then the public will close with RCMP again, then we'll have public works that come and open up the streets. So operational plans are being made. Obviously, there are a lot of details to work out, to think about, but it should be good. This is to show you the whole of the closures. It's the 3 sections. So you see here from Violette from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. What is blue is from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. Then the brown is 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's the Tintamarre area. We're going to be creating, obviously having a school just across the street from our site is really nice. For the question of buses, there's Kodiak is going to drop off people at Sainte-Thérèse School. We'll use Gould. We'll be controlling access to Gould so that our buses can come in and go out. The tour operators, people, we're going to give them an option to come and drop people off. Like François said, we're working on a taxi area at Unique Corporation. We still have something to work out because that's interesting because they'll be coming out of Musée Art Sart and it's in close to the parking. So for us, it's very important to have good signage, but we'll be finalizing the signage. We're working on it. Objects that are forbidden on the site and that are permitted. We started with a big list and we said, okay, what is it possible for people to bring on site? So we've developed this site. I don't know if you want me to go through it, the prohibited animals, except service dogs, glass bottles, portable, foldable chairs, illegal drugs and paraphernalia, coolers, big backpacks, items for sale or for promotion without permission, and any type of object that can pose a threat to safety of anybody, umbrellas, skateboards, and inline roller skates. So there are a couple of permitted objects, the reusable bottles, service dogs, binoculars, strollers, and small backpacks. Those are the lists that we're going to be distributing for objects that are permitted and not permitted on site. Work hours, the show is on the 15th. So on the 8th, we're going to spike this site. We're going to prepare the site. On the 9th, we prepare the stage, the technician aspect, lighting, video, everything that's necessary for the site, the bar, the VIPs, the food trucks. So we're going to be, the 14th, there'll be a general rehearsal. So you can see that we keep workers until 11 p.m., except the 14th and 15th, where it'll be longer days. Plan B, in case of rain, it's very simple. The show will be held even if it's raining. If there are lightning storms, if it's dangerous, we might decide to postpone, but the show is rain or shine. We go forward. So what I was telling you is the hours: food, noon to 8 p.m. on 1604. All the operating hours, people will be able to have drinks and food. So number of people expected on 1604 place. We figure that it'll be I don't know what your record is on Place 1604. We'll try to go beyond it. Number of people, if is not very nice, maybe 10,000. If it's really beautiful, maybe 20, 25,000. We hope. We'd asked for noise exemptions for the 14th of August, and they have to be at the same time to test on the 14th. Ideally, the 15th of August, we'll do it without interruptions, but if there are major things, we will stop and start up again. Sometimes at the end, we stop and we do it. This is why we asked for midnight. That's for the rehearsal. On the 15th of August, we should end at 1:15, 1:30 in the morning, so we asked for noise exemption till 2 in the morning. So make sure that Marc is not called at 1:30. Can we have another half an hour? Yeah, he's kind of tough to wake up when he sleeps. If I may, what Eric explained, the street closures, obviously the 15th of August is a Thursday. So we're working with how we're going to do it for the Tintamarre. Eric mentioned it. We have a work committee with the Pauline's team, and then we have public works people, a couple of people. We have our CMP, firefighters, emergency people. We're trying to see things safely. We know that we're not going to put Champlain Street during the Tintamarre. The street is going to be closed to make sure that it's safe. So basically, it's going to be trucks that are going to be closing the street. If there's an emergency to open the street, we can move the trucks. I think Public Works trucks from Dieppe are pretty solid. If somebody is daydreaming and doesn't see them. Communication plan, we've met with them, the people from the team. We're going to have key messages to show as the map of street closures. The shuttle and bus services are going to be talking about limited parking, because we'll be encouraging people to park where there'll be a drop-off for buses, for example. We have a partnership, for example, with Irving. We'll encourage people to go to Kent. We know that Kodiak, there's a stop even after 2. Maybe I forgot to tell you, for night buses, they're going to be we made sure that it went by the 36 hotels from the 3 municipalities, so people from outside will be serviced. We'll be encouraging people to use public transport. This is through communication. We know chairs. People will want to bring chairs. It's a question of safety and room. We need room for people, so we know that it's a challenge. At the Musicar site, we'll have some those stands for seating to accommodate people. So it'll be on a first-come, first-served basis. We know that we have to communicate properly. It's a nice park. We'll ask people to bring their blankets, objects that are permitted or prohibited. We'll be communicating that. We'll have to inspect bags, but the entrance to the site will be sped up. People who don't have bags will be able to go in quickly. These things will be communicated. Also, the taxi zone, the ways of communication, the website of the CMA, all the information will be centralized on the website. That will be the reference point for information for that day. The city of Dieppe will be able to post a brief description on its website, but there'll be a link to the Congrès Mondial Acadien site. Information on the 15th of August will be put on the page that is being developed specifically for the 15th of August, where we explain the street closures, the hours. People will be able to find the information there. We'll be having advertising in Acadie Nouvelle, Times and Transcript, and all that to explain things properly with maps to explain these things. There's a logo for the CMA, City of Dieppe. We have letters also to residents. We're finalizing a letter campaign. The staff will be delivering it door to door to all the residents of the streets around that, even those who are around the Musicard site, where there will be noise on some nights. We'll make sure that we have discussions with these people, and we'll suggest that we give them little tokens to help them forgive us for their noise. People will have been, the people we haven't been able to contact with there'll be 4 people who will be doing that communication with the citizens around the area. Gould, Sainte-Thérèse will be giving them a vignette for their vehicles so that they can travel. We'll ask them for their collaboration during the show night to use it just if necessary, but people will still have access. Nobody will be a prisoner of their own houses. If people have visitors from outside, then we can probably give them some parking spots around the college parking lot for that type of residence. So when we go around to the residents, that's one of the things we'll be asking to the residents if they have friends or people coming from the outside. So these key messages will be developed in collaboration with the municipality. So if the council wants us to work on something specific, we'll openly work with that. We'll be on social media also. That is it. Okay. Questions from members of council. Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for the presentation. It seemed well planned. Just a question, when you talk about the work agenda, the bylaw goes to 10 p.m. for excessive noise. Here you're going till 11 p.m. and other situations you go from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. I'll check that for the one from the 10 to 11 p.m. It might be an error, but we can change that if need be. The other question was the night. At one point, we need to work on lighting, so there's no noise really. It's the video people and the lighting people. They can't work during the day, so they'll be working at night. But I'll check on the 22nd. Okay, if there's no noise, it's not a problem. Monsieur Brideau. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The award councillor. Yes, it's your award. Yes, I have a few apprehensions. And I noticed that with your letter system to door-to-door communication on the CMA site, radio, for example, community radios, are you going to be using them too? Yes, because I think of the people who are coming from the outside who are going to coming here. The streets are closed. They don't know Dieppe more than that, so they're going to be looking where the site is, and the streets are closed, and it's a Panicsville. So I want to avoid something like that. I don't want to make enemies. We want to make good friends, good neighbors. We have a very good partnership with Radio Canada, CJSE, Beau FM, the francophone radios around. And if I'm not mistaken, Vaughn, we have Anglophone radio. Yeah, it's part of the communication plan. Yeah. Okay, great, thanks. Monsieur Godet. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to raise the question of foldable chairs. Most of our concerts here, there are always sections that have been set aside for people who can't stay standing up all night long. So if there's been rain that day, it's kind of difficult to sit on the grass. So have you thought maybe of establishing a zone, let's say for elderly people who want to go there, because it's not a celebration for youth and from 30 to 50 people, but you have people who are 60, 70, 80 years old who want to go there. So it's a problem, and I can foresee that there are people who are going to come there with chairs, and they're going to be told no. We have a plan for people who are going to be going there with their chairs to basically store them. We're setting up a plan for something like that. The grandstands are there for that. This is why we did, because we cannot. It's a question of safety. If we consider the amount of people and we have to evacuate people quickly, chairs on site, because we're talking about 10, 15, 20,000 people. It's a question of safety. It's a question of being able to accommodate the amount of people. A chair takes a lot of room, so people, the way they set them up, that's why we've gone with a system of grandstands, and also we'll have a zone for mobility challenged people. Is it possible to reserve grandstands for those? Yes, we can reserve grandstands for those people, and there'll be volunteers that'll make sure things work properly. And for the chairs, it's going to be clear in our communication plan to avoid surprises. People who are coming with their chairs and they have to go back to their cars, which are parked far away. That's why we will communicate it properly. And we know that we would authorize chairs. People would say, "Oh, they take a lot of room," so we're prohibiting them. And people would say, "Well, that's why we have the grandstand system. We'll be borrowing grandstands from the city of Moncton that'll lend us to us, and we'll install them on the site to make sure that we can accommodate the majority, a maximum of people." Madame Laboutillier, concerning buses. For Dieppe, for the residents of Dieppe, will we broaden the breadth because we're limited? We'll be able to go into farther regions like Dover or something like that? Or, yes, it's the Kodiak routes that we have now they are giving us free, and on the night routes they'll go the farthest, but still within the Kodiak network as it is now. Other questions? Monsieur Alain. When we look at the drawing, it shows that College Street, is that it? Is always open. No. College, we have to keep it open because if we close Notre Dame, people have to be able to travel in that neighborhood above that. So Notre Dame has to be closed because there's the work field. So nobody is going to be working on the College Street. Everything is going to be done through Notre Dame. The entrance to the site is on the side of Gould Street. Centenary Arena, and exit will be where the tennis courts are that fall on Sainte-Thérèse. So it's a one-way. You come in one side, you go out the other side. And then there are safety barriers, crash barriers, where we have volunteers if we need to evacuate. Pomerleau has been identified in the construction site. There won't be any work that day, so there are routes that have been identified in case of quick evacuation. And I think this is what Councillor Brideau was saying. The key message is to make sure that we notify our residents with letters in time. If we can do it during the whole summer, let's do it. So it seems the way things are going, it's going to be the best Acadian party we've ever had. So great presentation, thanks. Second round, Madame Louboutillier. Yes, thank you. I'd forgotten. We didn't tell you didn't tell us what the Tintamarre Street. Yeah, it starts at Place 1604. We start on Gauvin Street from Place 1604 to the turnaround. I think it's Rue du Collège on this side. We go up Rue du Collège, then we turn left on Champlain Street till Notre-Dame, and then we go up to Musicard. It's 1.4 kilometers exactly. Thank you. Monsieur Mélenchon, yes, for public transport, we have to add that people who are outside of the Kodiak network can park, for example, at Anna-Malenfant, and take public transport, say Saint-Anselme Church, Namiro. There are a lot of public areas, so that avoids the need to park in the downtown area. So they can, I know, okay, it's cars, but it avoids parking in the downtown. Monsieur Alain, yeah, and in the same line of thought, shouldn't we identify schools like Anna-Malenfant and Miro where people can, they are within the existing routes, so identify them as, I think there are, yes, areas that can be identified. People can park by Kodiak are the ones who are preparing their map for the network. So when it comes out, it'll be very clear that there are routes next to the University of Moncton, for example, next to where's the power center next to the old Costco. There are certain areas. So can we identify maybe? So put signage. I think somebody in authority is taking notes right now. Champlain Place also is it's an important area that can be used for parking. Anything else? If not, thank you very much. Thank you, Madame Madden, for your presence here. Happy to see you here again, and the rest of the team that's here. Yeah, we are looking forward to it. It's going to be hot. Thank you. Good evening.
Le 10 août.